I was an 8-year-old on a mission to remove some unwanted visitors from my neighborhood. Armed with my foam baseball bat, I went to the back cul-de-sac, tapped my neighbor's mailbox, and waited. I heard them, then I saw them. The bees flew out. I yelled, swung, hit, and ran for my life. I felt like a hero, like I had beaten nature. But now I look back with regret, because I've learned since then that bees are incredibly valuable parts of our lives and contributors to our well-being and survival. We need them, and they're dying. Honeybees have been in decline in the United States for over 60 years, and they're under pressure from a number of factors. They definitely don't need 8-year-olds with baseball bats added to their list of problems. And so in my presentation today, I'll be going over the importance of bees in our lives, the reality of their decline and the pressures that they face, how we can help them, and what might happen if we take action and if we don't. But underlying this issue, it's very important that we understand the fundamental importance of bees to our lives, our well-being, and our survival. And so that's what I'll begin with. The simplest way to introduce our dependence on bees is by saying that they put food on our tables. German biologist Alexandra Maria Klein published a study in 2006 examining agricultural dependence on bees and other pollinators, and she found that 35% of agricultural production, or 1 in 3 bites of food that you eat, is dependent on these animals, especially fruits, nuts, and vegetables. And beyond that, pollinators uphold nature around us, which allows us to survive. Entomologist May Berenbaum from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, interviewed by Smithsonian Magazine in 2007, said that 3/4 of flowering plants, which form the basis of most terrestrial food chains, are dependent on bees and other pollinators. Those terrestrial food chains, she mentions, are the ecosystems, the interactions of plants and animals around us that provide us with food, water, and air. They provide regulatory services by cleaning the water and air and the soil. They provide cultural services. Part of our culture comes from our interactions with nature. And they also provide support services, which involve the underlying processes of life, like photosynthesis, that allow us to be here at all. You can read more about ecosystem services to humans on the National Wildlife Federation website. But the essence of everything is that we need nature, and nature needs bees. And so we should be concerned when we're confronted with the fact that bees are dying. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, there were 5.9 million honey-producing colonies in the United States in 1947, and there were only 2.6 million as of January 2019. And we're still experiencing record losses. ABC News reported that in winter 2018, 40% of all managed honeybees in the United States died. And so faced with such devastation, thankfully, researchers have noticed the problem and devoted time and energy to discovering its causes. Pennsylvania State University researcher Dennis van Engelsdorp published a study in 2009 that identified some of the most important contributing factors to honeybee decline. Among the most important are invasive pests and predators, foremost among which is the mite, Varroa destructor, native to Asia, which invades honeybee colonies, latches onto the bees, sapping their health and eventually causing the colonies to collapse. And National Geographic reported recently in May 2020 that a new predator from Asia has arrived in the United States, the Asian giant hornet, which in small groups is capable of killing thousands of bees in a matter of hours through decapitation. Now, knowing that many of the important threats against bees are exotic animals, we may seem guiltless, but we're not. According to that same study, we contribute to pollinator loss through habitat loss and pesticide use. As we expand as a society and expand our agriculture into mass production, we both take away habitat from bees and contribute to toxin buildup in colonies through our pesticide use that eventually weakens and kills them. And so even our grocery habits, through buying mass-produced produce, work against the bees. Knowing this, it might seem that bees face too many pressures to handle, but thankfully, there is hope for them, and there are many people who are working to support them. We can support them too on national and local levels. To combat some of the more complex issues, like invasive pests and predators, we can donate to and support organizations like the Pollinator Partnership and the Honeybee Conservancy that are dedicated to finding scientific solutions to promote honeybee health. We can participate in their citizen science programs. An example of a citizen science program, though not part of the organizations I mentioned, was the World Bee Count, reported on by the Los Angeles Times earlier this year, where citizens took pictures of bees around them and sent them in to researchers to use in beneficial projects. We can also report sightings of invasive species to our local departments of agriculture. On the local level, we can combat habitat loss by planting pollinator gardens on our properties, or if we don't have the means, by planting wildflowers. There are plenty of guides to doing this available from the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. We can also go and support our local beekeepers and buy local organic produce. This will combat pesticide use and allow pollinators to flourish in small pockets to eventually bring up the population in the entire country. There's a Denton Community Market that's open every Saturday at 317 West Mulberry Street that we can all visit and support. There's at least 2 local beekeepers there. And so if we take these steps to support the bees, what will it look like? Hopefully it will look like normal. Envision your dinner table full of delicious foods in many colors, and then that you probably bought at an affordable price. Recall that fruits, nuts, and vegetables and other nutritious foods are highly dependent on pollinators. And that same ABC article on pollinator loss said that if pollinators continue to decline, prices may rise. Now imagine your dinner table full of brown bread and cereals, and seeing a $30 price tag on a package of almonds at the store. This might be the reality if we don't help the bees. And then recall how fundamental bees are to nature. Imagine your favorite park, full of flowers, wildlife, and beauty, and all the things that it does for you. It cleans your air and water, though you might not see it directly. That park is dependent on pollinators, and if we don't help them, it might be gone. So it's clear that we need the bees, and the bees need us. We've reviewed the importance of them to our lives, the pressures they face, and the reality of their decline, ways we can help, and what it might look like if we don't. So I challenge all of you, mark your calendars for 9 a.m. on Saturdays. Go to the Denton Community Market. Buy local honey and produce. Combat pesticide use. And through your efforts at the local level, we will support bees at the national level and keep our tables full and our race healthy. And if you really need bees gone, if you need a hive removed from your mailbox, please call a removal service and have them take the bees to serve you somewhere else. Whatever you do, don't hit them with a bat. Thank you.